the 2 RoboDome teachers in our school board. I'm going to give you an overview of what the RoboDome program is all about before your upcoming visit. The RoboDome classroom is a special place. You'll notice right when you walk in, it's all sorts of different colors, and it has all the specialized equipment we need to build and program Lego robots. When you come in, you're going to be working in groups, and each group will have all the parts they need to build their very own robot. You're going to follow instruction books to put those pieces together in a way that will let them run programs for us later on in the day. We will be building 2 different robots over your 2-day visit to the RoboDome. And by the end of it, you will be expert computer programmers and have had lots of fun working in teams and being really creative. We're looking forward to seeing you soon. We thought you might like to have a look at the type of robot you'll be building when you come into the RoboDome. The robots are about this size and will look very similar to what you see in my hands here. Like I mentioned, each team is going to build their own robot that looks like this, but when you come in, we're not going to hand you a robot. You've got to work. You're going to follow an instruction book, like this, that will tell you how all the pieces fit together. Once you get to the last step and have your finished product, we'll be able to begin programming. We'll quickly look at some of those parts that will come together to form our robot. One of the most important pieces is the NXT. We will be using Lego Mindstorm's NXT equipment in the RoboDome, and the NXT is like the brain of your robot. It's a mini computer that doesn't have very much memory, but will allow us to save some programs onto its memory so that we can run our robots. When I push the button, you'll hear the NXT turn on, and that means it's ready to go. But this piece can't work all by itself. We need other pieces, such as motors, beams. These pieces come in many sizes and have a different number of holes. We'll also be using axles, these long skinny pieces, and a variety of other smaller pieces, such as gears. Last but not least are our sensors, and these will attach to the robot so that they can interact with the classroom environment and with you. We have a sensor that looks like this, called the touch sensor, which will react to being touched or bumping into something. Next, we have a light sensor, which has 2 small light bulbs at the end and will be pointing down to the ground. You'll see why when you get to the RoboDome. And third, we have the ultrasonic sensor. Students always think this sensor looks like eyes, and you'll see what it does for your robot. It's really, really neat. Those are the parts that you will get to see when you come into the RoboDome, and you'll have a lot of fun putting those together to make your very own robot. Now that we know a little bit about the robots you will be building and the pieces you'll be using to put them together, let's talk about robots in the world around us. I want you to take a moment to think about what pops into your head when you hear the word robot. I imagine some of you might have mentioned that you thought of movie robots like WALL-E or the Terminator. Some of you might have mentioned big machines that are made out of metal and are mechanical. But I want to give you a definition of robot that might change the way you answer that question. We can think of a robot as anything that does work automatically after being programmed. With that new definition in mind, have another think about what pops into your head when you hear the word robot. Some of you might have come up with some robots around your house. I was thinking of my alarm clock, a robot that I'm often not very happy to hear in the morning. An alarm clock is a robot because it does something, wakes me up, automatically after I've programmed it the night before. Some other robots you might have thought of could be a dishwasher or a microwave, other machines around your kitchen. I used a robot this morning to get to work in my car, a GPS. The more you think about that definition, a robot as anything that can do work automatically after being programmed, the more examples of robots you will think of. Now I'm going to ask that you think about different jobs that robots do. Did you think of robots that you have around your house? That's what I thought of. An example is my alarm clock, a robot that I'm often not very happy to hear in the morning. My alarm clock is a robot because it does work, it wakes me up, automatically after being programmed the night before. Some other examples you might have thought of around your house could be your dishwasher or your microwave. You might have seen some robots on your way to school this morning, such as traffic lights. I used a robot in my car. It was my GPS machine. So the more you think about that definition, the more robots you will start to see all around you in your everyday life. Now I want you to think about some jobs that robots do all around the world. You'll notice robots are doing more and more jobs all around us. Some examples that you might have thought of can be seen pictured behind me. For example, there are robots that work with the Ottawa Police Department to defuse bombs. There are robots that work as nurses, helping the elderly and assisting them with their everyday lives. There are robots that work underwater. And there are robots that even rescue people who have been trapped in a building after an earthquake. Some robots even work in space, and I'm sure you can think of a couple of those as well. But the last question I have for you is, why do we have robots do all these jobs? There are many reasons why we have robots doing different jobs. For example, robots go into space before human beings do because it's a dangerous environment and we don't want to put any human life in jeopardy. Robots do other work like on assembly lines because some of those jobs can be boring and repetitive, and robots don't need to take breaks or go on vacation. You might see robots doing other jobs around the house, such as robotic vacuum cleaners. And some people have machines like that because they're jobs that they don't want to do. So you can see that robots do a lot of work for us, and they will be doing even more work in the future. So keep your eye out for different robot jobs that appear around you. The last thing that we're going to talk about are some frequently asked questions. because I'm sure you still have a few questions about your RoboDome visit. One question that always gets asked by students is, do we get to take the robots home? And unfortunately, the answer is no. The reason is that the robotics equipment at the RoboDome is shared by students all over our school board. So I know you're going to take good care of all the Lego pieces so that the next group of grade 5 students gets to have fun with them and learn as well. Another question that often gets asked is, do we get to sleep overnight at the RoboDome? And that is not the case. You are coming to the RoboDome classroom for 2 days, but you will be going back to school on the school bus at the end of the day and then returning to the RoboDome the next morning. Please remember to bring your indoor shoes with you for your visit, pack a nut-free lunch, and dress for the weather in case we have the chance to go outside for recess. We're really looking forward to seeing you at the RoboDome and can't wait for you to come and build and program robots with us. See you soon.